Rabbi Visno, for giving me this opportunity to address the congregation. This week's Parsha, Bashalach, begins as the Jews leave Egypt. Pharaoh pursued them, trapping them at the Red Sea. Moses raised his hand, and when he parted the waters, allowing the Jewish people to pass through safely, they had crossed to the other side. When the Egyptians tried to cross the sea, Moses once again raised his hand, and the waters came crashing down on Pharaoh's army. Awed by this miracle, the Israelites sang a song, spontaneously and together. In recollection of that moment, tradition has named this week Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song. What is the place of song in Judaism? We have music for our holidays, for our services and festivals. I'm sure when you hear one of these tunes, you'll know what holiday we're in. And you'll know what holiday this is. Whose soul has not been stirred when they hear this ancient tune? All of our prayers have been sent to music, but who are these composers who have done it? Well, we don't have Bach, Beethoven, or Brahms, but we have a very distinguished group of composers that have done this. We'll start with Solomon Sulzer, born in 1804, who was the first cantor who organized the music of the service and put it down in musical notation, along with the fact that he also composed music for the service, such as we've already heard. Following Sulzer, another great composer was Louis Lewandowski, who set to music almost every prayer that we have available to us. This morning we've already heard this. The first half of the 20th century brought us a large crop of classical composers who wanted to try to infuse the music with classical music and a feeling of Judaism. We start with Max Janowski. One of his pieces is the most recorded piece of completely Jewish music in the entire world. And whether you know it or not, you have already sung a piece by Janowski this morning. The great Canadian composer Ben Steinberg has written a wealth of material for our services, and almost every Friday night here and around the world we hear this composition by him. Sam Adler is among the most distinguished composers of the 20th century, winning numerous awards, having his symphonies played all over the world. We sing his music for festivals, high holy days, and during our services. And he has written the tune of a piece that I think you never thought actually had a composer, and Don and I would like to do it for you together. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. The second half of the 20th century brought a new crop of composers who tried to blend the classical style, but making it more accessible to congregants reflecting the current times, such as Donnie Messing, who wrote this. Jeff Klepper. doing today, who looked back on the Hasidic and old style of Jewish music and tried to give it a 20th century feel, such as Shlomo Carlebach. Then we have a very interesting person, an ethnomusicologist. His name is Abraham Tzvi Idelson. This morning we sang his version of Ritzay. He was born in 1882 in Lithuania. He felt that all Jewish people shared something in common in music, and he traveled throughout Europe, Asia, and Northern Africa, collecting tunes that people sang. And he recorded them on cylinders, and there exists today in Vienna over 1,000 cylinders of these pieces of music that he collected. And he took one of these tunes that he really liked and put some words together with it, and it became this very well-known song. In the words of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, music is a signal of transcendence. Our generation needs new songs so that we too can sing joyously to God, as our ancestors did at that moment of transfiguration when they crossed the Red Sea and emerged the other side, free at last. When the soul sings, the spirit soars.